Lost Media.
Waluigi's Foot Fault. Yeah, this one's really weird. Waluigi's Foot Fault is basically an official Flash game released by Nintendo themselves in which the main objective is to basically trim Waluigi's foot nails. Yeah, I'm not even joking. This is incredibly disgusting and also, definitely the most foot fetish thing that Nintendo has ever put out. I don't know why they thought this was a good idea, but yes, this game is official. How do we know this, even though the entire game is lost? Simple. It was mentioned in an issue of Nintendo Power, all the way back in the year 2000. The section in question is called Mamma Mia, It's Waluigi, which describes the contents of the promotional Flash game. It even shows that at some point there was an official website called Waluigi.com. All this, but he's not in Smash Brothers, so yeah. The objective of the game described by the game itself is as follows.
Grab your shears and collect a jar full of smelly toenails clipped off Waluigi's monstrous feet. The fungus is about to begin.
What's even weirder here is that because it's a Flash game, he moves, at least slightly, enough to start looking at you and blinking, which is just so disgusting and creepy. And come on, bro, put the dogs away. Nobody needs to see that. Now, here's one that even diehard Kingdom Hearts fans might have missed. Kingdom Hearts VCast is one of the strangest and most obscure entries in the entire series. Released in 2004 in Japan and early 2005 in the US, this mobile game was exclusive to Verizon's wireless, short-lived VCast broadband service, and this game was not made by Square Enix or anybody involved with the core team. Instead, it was developed by Superscape and published by Disney Interactive, making it the very first Kingdom Hearts game handled entirely outside of the core team. And to be clear, this game is not canon. It doesn't tie into the main storyline, and most fans don't even know it exists. The plot is kind of a fever dream. Sora, Donald, and Goofy, along with Jiminy Cricket, are flying through space in the Gummy Ship. When they decide to take a nap, because why not, I guess? While they're asleep, some unknown creature sneaks aboard their ship and traps Sora in some sort of dream world. He wakes up alone on a desert island called Swordman Island, with Donald and Goofy nowhere in sight. The goal becomes simple: build a raft and find his friends before finally escaping the island. But while the game starts out pretty small, it quickly takes a bunch of different turns that you might not be expecting.
I'm adding this part in later. This game was most known for having a dark version of Sora as one of the final bosses.
Despite the limitations, he could climb and jump as well. This game disappeared around 2012 after Verizon decided to shut down their VCast service. For years, it was considered lost media, but thanks to fan preservation efforts, we now have access to most of the game, specifically chapters 1, 3, and 4. These have been recovered and uploaded online, including gameplay footage and even the full soundtrack. The one missing piece is Chapter 2, which features Wonderland. As of now, it's completely lost. No footage, no files, not even a working screenshot. It's one of the few lost Kingdom Hearts levels, and fans are kind of hoping that somebody has it tucked away in their old phone. Today, Kingdom Hearts VCast lives on mostly as a curiosity, a side note in the franchise's history, but it's also a reminder of how fragile digital games can be. Without preservation, even games from the biggest franchises can be lost forever. Everybody knows what Family Guy is. I don't think I have to explain it, but did you also know that there was an MMO based off of the show? Yeah, I'm not even joking. A game that allowed you to play as your own character in the town of Quahog. In the game, you spawn into the house of the main characters, and basically just unlock different places to go. The main issue with this game is that it was basically dead on arrival, almost immediately. And by that I mean, the game never even left the beta. Sure, it was playable between 2012 and 2013, but again, it was never really completed. And I don't think there was much of a reason to. I think that part of the reason this game died was the fact that not only was it free to play like most MMOs, but it had a fatal flaw, being that it had no microtransactions or really any way to make money, outside of linking you to the official Family Guy show on the Apple Store. Which, let's be real, probably isn't the best way to promote Family Guy because people already know what Family Guy is, which means that trying to promote it in this way just makes no real sense. Yeah. Another thing that's kind of worth noting is the fact that this game was browser-based. Actually, the main reason that this game might continue to be lost media is the fact that it was a browser game. The fact that it was a browser game meant that nobody really had to download anything to play this game. You could just load up a browser and basically be playing the game in a matter of seconds. But again, that's the main issue. That essentially means that there's very little chance that we'll actually find this game. In fact, the only way that this game might ever be found is if somebody just randomly decided to download the Unity 3D files. Because yes, this game was developed in Unity. If somebody did by some chance do that, we might still be able to play the game, but that's honestly pretty unlikely. The game really wasn't around for that long, and I highly doubt that anybody decided to go out of their way and download it, especially when they had no real reason to. So most likely this game will remain lost media for probably the indefinite future. Oh, come on, you knew this one was going to be on the list. Yeah, I couldn't make a video about video game lost media without including this one, Charlie the Steak. I think this one's quite ubiquitous within the lost media community in general, and the fact that I haven't mentioned it in any way, shape, or form on this channel yet is probably a mistake in and of itself. Charlie the Steak is a bizarre mobile game, in which the concept of the game is that you basically just beat up and abuse the steak. It's kind of in the vein of like a Talking Tom type game, but the subject matter is just completely different. It's super dark and brutal, and honestly, for something you would assume was made for kids, just plain weird. And by the way, you might just think, oh, you hit it with like a steak hammer or something. Nope, you literally mutilate parts of it, teeth, and basically any other part. The game was removed at some point due to the fact that I guess not enough people were playing it, and therefore there was no real reason to keep it up. The game was actually found by a user named Dipper Gaming, who basically dumped the files, which makes this game found. Another lost mobile game includes It's Fred, which was basically an iOS-only mobile game based off the internet personality Fred. Now, if you don't know who Fred is, he was basically the biggest YouTuber of all time. You know, the same kid who got all those Nickelodeon movies and that TV show and that other TV show.
Hey guys, what's up? What am I doing? Well, I'm just playing the new Fred app.
The app was only around 99 cents, but that's actually probably what ended up killing this game, because at the time, most people just weren't going to pay for apps. A lot of apps were free, and if people were going to pay for an app, it definitely had to be something, worth paying for. So in this game, you basically just work up to defeat the main villain, Kevin, who's also a character in a lot of the other Fred media, basically the villain, essentially. This game was only supported up until iOS 4. Luckily, there was actually one person who not only bought the game, but still had the game downloaded to his phone, that being a user named Supreme Cheese, who basically posted this to archive.org, meaning that this is actually now found media, which is, pretty cool.
You like Fergie?
In 2007, Disney Interactive launched as a minigame service offered through Dish, accessible only via Channel 100 on Dish Home. If you had the compatible technology, all you would really need is a remote, and you could basically play all sorts of different games, ranging from Kim Possible to Hannah Montana to The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and even That's So Raven. To access the service, you would need to pay a price of around $5 or $4.99. Occasionally, though, there were free weekends, from what I understand. Of course, nothing could last forever, and so in the early 2010s, it was quietly shut down, most likely due to the fact that a lot of these shows quietly disappeared themselves. And I don't really think Disney wanted to go through the hassle of maintaining a service like this when there were already way better ways to promote your shows, which, of course, kind of makes sense. But that's kind of the thing. I don't know how anybody could back up any of these games considering they were games that were playable through Dish. So yeah, basically now all these games are lost media, and I don't really see that changing. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video up until this point. If you're wondering where I've been and why I haven't uploaded as much, I was sick, sure, whatever. But also, I've been working on a lot of videos on my animation channel just for fun. I don't know, it's just something to do. If you guys are interested, you guys can go check that out as well.